How's it going, folks? This is Aviel Leos from the Children's Court coming to you live from Michigan Trove Studios, and I'm back for the second time today, and I'd like to apologize in advance for having to be the first person to make one of these videos. I know this is fresh in everybody's mind, and it could even be considered a little bit insensitive, but Kobe Bryant's death wasn't an accident, in my opinion. I've been monitoring the situation and just observing what's been happening today, and just understanding what's been happening since Friday, after the Democratic managers in the Senate finished up their argument for impeachment. And this is just one of the things that I'm connecting to this. But you know, I understand if you don't want to stick around and listen to my conspiracy theories. I'd rather just call it my opinion based on the information that I've gathered in the short time since I've, been aware of Kobe Bryant's passing. And I just want to say that I think it's absolutely disgusting because a real life has been lost, along with Kobe and his daughter and the other people that were inside the helicopter. And that's what's so demonic about this, and that's why I can't just look past what I'm seeing right in front of my face. So if you don't want to hear it, I totally understand. I don't have too many followers yet anyway, so I don't think I'd be significantly feeling the hit. If you want to humor me and just listen to something that might open your eyes to a bigger situation, then stick around. It should be interesting. I wanted to just mention briefly that it's a Grammy weekend. I'm just seeing all of the elite hip-hop guys and people in Hollywood at the Rock Nation brunch celebrating. Seemed a little bit ceremonial. And to me, those things are always cringe right before one of these celebrity passings when they have these big events. Grammys are also tonight, so it just rubbed me the wrong way that this happened in conjunction with that. And the big news that LeBron James supposedly passed Kobe Bryant's scoring record, I believe it was. Those things just hit too conveniently to Kobe Bryant's death. And the theme of this video is that all these things that I'm going to talk about are just too conveniently in line with the death of this polarizing figure. And so moving right along, those things are a little bit more trivial than the other ones. So I mentioned that there's an impeachment going on inside Washington, D.C. right now. Not today, but ongoing impeachment trial. The House managers, who are the Democrats that partisanly impeached the president and brought those articles over to the Senate to argue for the removal of the president, just wrapped up on Friday night. And so Saturday, the Republicans, or the White House lawyers and just the White House team in general, got to rebut a lot of that. And with that came a lot of information and revelation about what really is going on in this country. And so if you take into the account that Joe Biden is in the news heavy right now and facing some serious corruption allegation and possibly future charges if this really picks up steam. We have Adam Schiff, who's being absolutely exposed as a player inside an attempt at a deep state coup, intentionally putting out false information. He was exposed live on the Senate floor as being a complete and absolute liar, and even some of the Democratic senators have stated that they are leaning towards exonerating the president, which would make it a bipartisan acquittal on the charges that are inside the articles of impeachment. Also, Rudy Giuliani, the former New York mayor, is about to release a series of podcasts this week that is going to expose a lot of Washington congressmen and women for corruption. What does this have to do with Kobe Bryant's death? Absolutely nothing. The point is that all these things that I'm talking about right now are mainstream news. They're everywhere. Well, they were everywhere on the news. It was all that was being talked about on all news networks. Joe Biden corruption, Adam Schiff lying about most of the things that he said in the past 3 years about the Russian collusion, about these articles of impeachment, the whistleblower, so many things that are coming out that are complete lies, that is plastered all over the news media. Rudy Giuliani going on all of these different news broadcasts saying that he has witnesses, paperwork, evidence of all manners that's going to blow Washington up. This is all that's been playing on the news this weekend. So when you think about that, something that was bigger than all of them needed to happen to take over the news cycle going into Monday. Because on Monday, the president's team is going back to the Senate floor to plead his case and to undo the Democratic House managers even more. And the more information that comes out, the more damaging it's going to be to the people that want to remove the president. Now, with something like Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players in history, dying in a tragic fire, and then on top of that, his daughter being inside the helicopter with him, that's gonna wipe all that impeachment news off the table for at least half of the week, if not the entire week. And you might say, well, Kobe Bryant's not as big as, a presidential impeachment. Yes, he is. Nobody's paying attention to the impeachment as it is. And so the people that are paying attention to it are going to be watching news about Kobe Bryant and his daughter for at least, like I said, at least half of next week, and not focusing on what's being said inside the Senate impeachment hearing. That is significant. Lower educated people are going to listen to what I'm saying and think that is nonsense because they're not paying attention to anything that's happening inside the world around them. But if you just put those pieces together and then add the fact that this woman on MSNBC appears to say the LA niggers, excuse my language, live on TV, on news. MSNBC, a lady was reporting on Kobe and called his team the LA Nakers, but it sounded like she said niggers again, excuse my language. And this was done on purpose. There's no way this lady thought the LA Lakers was Nakers. There's no way that she confused the Knicks with the Lakers. This was done to outrage black people and get them on this lady, focusing on her disrespecting one of our greatest legends in history, Kobe Bryant, and talking about how racist she is. So now the conversation on the news across all networks is going to be Kobe Bryant, a great legend, has died in a horrific accident. Him, his daughter, and a few other people. And also, the conversation in social media is going to be about this lady on the news who said the LA Nakers. But if you listen quickly, it sounds like a racist word towards black people. And guess what? She did it on purpose. And it wasn't her decision to do it. this was planned. This was, as far as I'm concerned, this was all a part of the plan to change the news cycle. Because as much as the left doesn't want to hear this, the Democrats are in deep trouble right now. The president is about to be acquitted in his impeachment trial, and Adam Schiff, Joe Biden, and others are about to be exposed for corruption, like corruption on catastrophic levels. And they needed to quickly change that narrative, and something huge had to happen. They couldn't just blow up a car in San Diego or have a mass shooting. That's not enough to make this happen. It had to be something big. And I believe this is where Kobe Bryant came in. I believe it just all lined up. It was all too convenient. And one other thing I wanted to get on was YouTube influencers. They're self-censoring. Had to buy some Hennessy Black for Black Mamba. It's truly a shame. But the point is that I was making, YouTubers are self-censoring. I'm watching Hassan Campbell. I'm watching Lil Flip. What's his name? Queen's Flip. People inside the comments are trying to bring up the possibility that this might have been a hit job to change the narrative. Some people say, oh, it's the Illuminati sacrifice. Whatever the point is. Whatever the case is, excuse me. People have questions. People don't just believe the narrative. And we have these YouTubers self-censoring, scolding the people inside their chats and telling them, stop asking questions. This man died. You should be ashamed of yourself. You probably don't take care of your... Just talking crazy. Talking down to these people inside the chat that are bringing up legitimate concerns. It's not like it would be the first time that something untruthful, something was reported untruthfully inside the media. And I think that's sad. And that's what the elite or the powers that be expect. They expect black people to be gullible and stupid. They expect us to buy a phone called Figures Wireless and with some Mexican or Dominican running a company and calling himself black. They expect you all to run out and hate any black person that questions that man's identity. They expect you to have a knee-jerk reaction to this white woman on MSNBC saying niggers, and you hearing niggers, and making the whole narrative is about this woman now. Now she needs to be fired, she needs to be killed, she needs to lose everything. But you don't say that about Camila Cabello. You don't say that about George Lopez's parents. You don't say that about none of these other races of people that are blatantly hateful to you. But they knew what would make you mad. That's why the woman's name wasn't Latino. That's why her name wasn't Asian or Arab or African or something like that. That's why it was a white woman. To make people like Queen's Flip and Hassan Campbell a knee-jerk. Hassan Campbell didn't react to that as of right now. That was Lil Flip. Queen's Flip. I keep calling him Lil Flip. But that's what they knew what would happen. They wanted to make the narrative about her and about Kobe. And that's what the narrative is about now. Impeachment is still going to be in segments of the news, but the majority of the coverage is going to be about Kobe and his daughter. Memorials, tributes, all of these things that are going to follow his death. Tonight at the Grammys, it's going to be a damn seance in remembrance of Kobe. I just wanted to get back on the camera and tell you guys what I thought about what was going on with all this, and that I don't trust that Kobe Bryant's helicopter just caught on fire and went down and blew up inside a valley. Like I said in my old video, my last video, how many record execs, how many major label execs, how many congressmen and women, how many international bankers, how many head of state, how many of these upper echelon people have gone down inside a tragic air accident? None, other than the Kennedys. And I don't believe that these celebrity deaths are just tragic accidents. I think there's a little bit more to it. And listen, if that way of thinking is not for you, then I can respect it. If you need to live in the matrix and not question anything and just accept the report as it comes out, then I respect it. But this is how I feel about the situation after everything that I've seen today. Not to mention that the moon looks crazy tonight. It looks like there's a planet in front of the moon right now if you go outside and look up. So I'm going to leave it right there, folks. I'm going to drink this Hennessy Black in memory of the Black Mamba. And may the Lord have mercy on him. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video.
Follow me back to reality, break through the looking glass. What you looking at? Rude, what you looking at? I ain't looking at you, sir, I'm looking past. I gotta be mean, cause nice guys finish last. And I'm about to have a birthday bash. My life's backstage and you don't get no pass. All kind of women I get, I just don't brag. And no charges filed by any pussies that I grab. Laugh when they condemn me.